Hello Flosstube, and welcome back to the Blue Box Stitcher, my channel where I talk about cross stitch. Today is a Flosstube extra, which is like a deep dive into other things, and then once a month I post a Flosstube where I talk about all the stitching that I've done. I've actually been stitching up a storm, so I'm excited for my next Flosstube, but it is March, which means Nashville Needlemarket just happened this past week. And I love watching everyone's market picks, so I wanted to go over mine. I want to say like 14 that I love. Nashville Needlemarket, if you don't know, it took me a while to figure out what it was when I first started watching Flosstube, but basically it's like a wholesale convention where a bunch of cross-stitch designers like show off their new designs, and then cross-stitch stores and like needlework stores, so your O&S's, they go and like pick out designs to buy wholesale to bring back to their shop, and then it's not open to the general public. So I at first thought it was like a stitching convention, but it's just for selling wholesale patterns. But a lot of designers will like release Nashville Needlemarket patterns, and it's very exciting. You can like pre-order them. It just happened, so like the pre-orders are over, but you can, I think it takes like a month or two for them to appear as PDFs. So I personally don't pre-order from Nashville Needlemarket because I prefer to stitch from PDFs, and I also find like if you sit with it, it kind of stops like the, oh my god, I need everything. It's kind of like buying paperback versus hardback. Yeah, so I thought it would be fun to do my market picks. I really loved everything the designers came out with this year. I don't know. I don't really know what to say. Let's get into it. Let's just get into it. Okay. Let's get into it. Also, this is like a different angle than usual because this is serious business. So I'm facing my desk and my laptop is like right here off screen so I can look at the patterns. But you know, for serious business, we face the desk. And I did clean everything that was in view because my room is a disaster, but that's a different story. Okay, the first pattern that I want to talk about is Twilight Moon cross stitch pattern by Tiny Modernist, and I love this pattern so much. I love the tiny little house. I love the moon. So basically a bunch of designers got together and they created this night garden palette by Threadworks that's a bunch of like, I think it's like 5 flosses, and then a bunch of different designers designed smalls with those flosses. So if you buy like one floss pack, then you have the floss for like 15 different patterns or something. And honestly, I think they're all really great. But I chose kind of like my top 2. This one, the moon, which like, I don't know. I just like love a moon moment. I think there's also one that has, this one's a gray moon, but there's like a blue moon one too that I did really like. And I just really like the tiny house with the flowers coming out of it. I think it's so cute. The next one is Moonlit Cottage by Quaint Rose Needle Arts, which is a designer that I hadn't heard of before, but it's like a house with a moth over it, and I just think it's super cute. I have realized I love a tiny house, big flowers, which was a big theme of market last year. But I just think she's so cute. I really love this palette, and I'm honestly kind of tempted to get it, but I feel like I have to stick to my stitching goals. I will say, I should have said this in the introduction, but I don't really have plans to stitch anything from market this year because I found that like, I don't want to stitch. I don't want to get overwhelmed by the amount of things that I want to stitch. And so I feel like when I first started watching Flosstube, I started watching Flosstube like a year ago, 2 years ago at this point, and I wanted to stitch like everything. And now that I'm actually starting a lot of things, I feel like my desire to stitch everything has sort of shifted, and I've become like very picky about the patterns that I want to stitch because I know they're going to take me so long, and I feel like they need to be deserving of their spot on the roster. So there's a lot of things that I think are really beautiful but wouldn't personally want on my walls, or things that I think are really beautiful but I don't know if I think they would be fun to stitch. And then there are things that I like don't necessarily think they're like the best thing to come out of market, but that is the thing that I want to stitch, if that makes sense. So I feel like I was kind of picky when I was looking through the patterns. Like, these are my top, but I did find other ones that I thought were really great patterns. I just personally don't want to stitch them. Like, these ones, I'm like, I could see myself stitching this. And I will say there's one pattern where I'm kind of thinking about doing it, but I feel like talking about cross stitching is like a hobby in and of itself. I'm not really a collector because I can't like financially do that, nor do I have the space. So we just talk about it. Anyways, moving on. Back to Tiny Modernist. I wanted to do the two like night garden ones first, but honestly, I feel like I have not seen a lot of people talking about Tiny Modernist's market releases, and I think their market releases are incredible and like low-key one market. Like, I think they're so fun and whimsical. This one is Snail Rider Cross Stitch by Tiny Modernist, and it's like, are you kidding me? It's like a woman riding a snail. Who doesn't want that in their life? I think that I would like change her hair and give her like fun blue hair just to make her like a little more fairy-esque. But I love how like the snail has like a harness. I love the giant mushrooms. I love the moon in the background. I love all the flower choices. I just think this is stunning. I think it's incredible. I am doing like a big sampler on black fabric, so I feel like I'm a little black fabriced out, but at some point it will return and I will want to stitch this pattern. And then the next one is one that for a while I was like, maybe actually I will stitch this one, which like maybe I will. I don't know. I'm like immediately going back on what I just said. But this is Yesterday I Was Clever cross stitch pattern by Tiny Modernist. And first of all, tiny house, big flowers. Obsessed. And I really like the quote. I don't often like quotes on cross stitch because a lot of them are very old timey. They're often religious themed, which I'm not religious. And they're very like prim and proper, but I like this one. It says, yesterday I was clever, so I wanted to change the world. Today I am wise, so I'm changing myself. And I love the hand with the flowers. I love the little mushrooms. I love the fox. Again, a moon, a lot of moons. And I just think it's so beautiful. I think you could even just stitch the hand, like everything inside the border if you're not a big border person. Like, I like the quote. I wouldn't say it's like a groundbreaking quote, but I like it. I do really like it. And I think it's like a little different. Oh, I just love it. I love it, and I think this is probably, this and another one are my top two favorites. Next up is Animal Cracker Lily by Stacy Nash. She is so cute. I'm not a big pillow person, although like I'm starting to feel the urge to make a pillow, but I don't really want like a dough bowl or anything. I just feel like the pillows appeal to me in terms of like a tchotchke moment that I can put on my bookshelves, but I don't really want like a bowl full of pillows, so animal crackers are not necessarily like my vibe. But I just love her. She's a little frog. I don't know what she's holding, but her and her little dress. I had to. I love frogs. Frogs are incredible. Next up we have, I think this is on pretty much everyone's list. It's an ode to libraries by Heartstring Samplery. And it's like a book with flowers coming out of it, and it says the very existence of libraries affords the best evidence that we may yet have hope for the future of humanity, which again, love this quote. I love a library. Join your local library. Get on Libby. Collect those library cards. It's incredible. And I really like the color choices. I like these flowers. The only thing I'm like kind of meh on is the book at the bottom. I feel like lacks a little whimsy. It's just a lot of block stitching. I don't know if I would maybe change the color of the book or what I would do. But I do feel like the bottom is like missing something. But overall, I really love this. I will say this is one that I don't know if I would necessarily stitch because I just don't know, like, if this is, like, since I'm still kind of early in my stitching journey, I'm not just, like, willing to put, like, anything on my walls, if that makes sense. Like, I could see wanting to stitch this in the future and wanting to put it on my wall, but I don't know if I want it to be, like, the first round of things that I put on my wall, I guess. I love a gallery wall moment. You can tell this is my sports gallery wall behind me of posters. And I just like a theme, and I don't know if this like fits with my theme that I'm working on right now. The next one is very whimsical. It's Afloat cross stitch by Twin Peak Primitives. And I love this so much. It's a little whale that's also a ship. I think that I would do a color conversion because right now I think it's giving very like kids' bedroom. I think I would make the whale darker. And then maybe I would like get some like galaxy fabric and put it in the background. So then it's like a whaleboat in space. What do we think about that? I think that could be fun. That could be kooky. I read a lot of like fantasy D&D stuff, and I feel like a whale boat in space is giving, like, not another D&D podcast, it's giving NADPod, which I need to finish. And yeah, it just like really appeals to me, but I will say the more I look at it, the more I'm like, I don't love the colors. Like, I think I see what they're going for, but I think I would want to change the colors to just make it a little bit more, like a little less kiddish, if that makes sense. But yeah, whaleboat in space, like the dark whale, maybe like purpley sails. Like I keep the white center one and I make the like blues purpley, and maybe I make the yellow more gold, or I make the flag, like the orange flag gold, and like the yellow's maybe silvery. I don't know. I just feel like I look at this and I'm like, there's something there that I need. It's not exactly this, but it's there, and I could do it. I really want to get into like color conversions. I love watching other people do color conversions, and there's actually a pattern that I kind of want to start with color conversions that's not from Market this year, but it's from a designer. This is why I love watching Market videos, because it's from a designer. Like, I saw a video where they were talking, I don't remember the designer's name right now. You know what? I'm gonna look it up. I saved the pattern. We're just gonna do a quick little diversion here. This is the most like chaotic video I've ever made. I don't know what I'm doing. Carriage house samplings. I've like heard of them. I mean, they do Hawk Run Hollow, which is like what they're famous for. And I didn't know that they really did stuff besides Hawk Run Hollow. I also really get them confused with the people who do the like In the Woods series and the House series. Who are those people? I have my laptop in front of me. We can just look up everything now. Freedom, because we're at the desk and this is serious business. Let's see. Why do I have so many things saved? but not what I'm looking for. One day I should just make a video of all of my saved patterns. Okay, I'm just gonna Google it. It's the House series. In the Woods. Cross Stitch series. Like, they sound exactly the same as Carriage House Samplings. It's Cottage Garden Samplings. I get the two mixed up all the time. I thought they were the same forever. Cottage Garden Samplings does, like, the Year in the Woods, Year in Houses, or whatever. And I love them, and I want to stitch all of those. And then Carriage House Samplings does Hawthorne Hollow, which I love the look of those. And I actually saw Thread Gremlins. Caroline was doing no, I don't think her name is Caroline. I don't know. I can't remember their names. But she was doing like a stash dive for Hawthorne Hollow, and I was like, actually, I think I would really love to do Hawthorne Hollow pieces with my own conversion that make them a little less prim. Like, the idea hadn't really occurred to me before. Anyways, so I really want to do a color conversion for something. I want to start. And then I was like watching someone's video, and they were talking about a Carriage House Samplings. I think it was like the pear. I just got a notification that I had to turn off, sorry. They were talking about the pear pattern that just came out. I guess I'll pop a picture here. And I think that's from Carriage House Samplings, so I was looking up to see other things in this series because I'm not a big pear person, but apparently there was a strawberry. I'm going through the website. We've completely lost the plot here. And I see this pattern in the garden. And when I talk about quotes, like, this is the kind of quote I want. It says, plant in the sunlight, water in the moonlight. And it's like, are you kidding me? I love that. It's giving witch. It's giving witch. And it's just like a woman in her red dress watering her plants. And this is the first thing where I was like, I could see myself really doing a color conversion where I do this on like a very dark fabric, like a blue-black. So it's like she's watering the plants in the moonlight, and then I make everything very like bluey, purpley. I make the green more like pastel almost, so that it's very like moonlight reflecting off of things, if that makes sense. Obviously I change her dress. I give her maybe blue hair, pink hair. Yeah. Like, I'm stitching with this color Fancy Nancy, I think, on my 2024 stitch for Pride. And it's this very pastel-y green, I guess. And I just feel like the green in this would look so green. So I love the combination of that green with the black fabric. I think I would choose a different green just to like spice it up. I don't want to stitch with like one color all the time. But that vibe is what I want for this. So back to Market. This is why Market is fun too, because then you just go down a rabbit hole and you find things that you want to stitch, even if they're not even from Market. But the next pattern for Market that I really liked is the Florist by the Artsy Housewife. I will say, I love almost everything the Artsy Housewife puts out. I didn't love most of her Nashville Market picks this year because they're just not really my style, but this one, this is fun. I love, 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 love the giant cat with a flower on its butt. Come on. I don't know if I would like actually stitch this, but I love her. I love this woman. And I love it. Yeah. The next one is, okay, see, now I literally have a Carriage House Samplings pattern on here that I forgot about, so great. This is Lemon Yellow by Carriage House Samplings, and again, Tiny House Big Flowers. I just need them all. And I love the sun with the lips. Are you kidding me? This is so fun. I love them. This is one where I would not change like anything about it. I love the fabric. I love the color choices. I mean, I wouldn't do it in that frame, but like, I'm obsessed. It's giving very like sun goddess watching over vibes. I am like not a very like spiritual person. I just like the imagery of it. I think it's so fun. The next one's really random, but Willoughby is coming out with these frog floss drops, and I think they're cute. I said I love a good frog, and I love this frog. I don't even really use floss drops that much, but I'm tempted. I'm really tempted by these. Then we've got Strawberry Goose Witch by Fine Frog Stitching. I feel like a lot of smaller designers put out Nashville market designs this year that I didn't really see last year. Like, I don't know Fine Frog Stitching meant last year, which I think is super fun. I feel like I'm not necessarily attracted to like all the smalls, just because I've been really feeling like bigger pieces recently. Although this is dense, I could see this having a lot of stitching in the end, but I love her. I have this like, there's this big thing in the Midwest where you have like porch geese, and you have like a plastic white goose that you dress up in different outfits, and I didn't grow up in the Midwest, so I never saw them, but then I saw them on TikTok, and now I want one so bad. And my friend crocheted me a mini goose that I can put like crocheted fits on, and I would love to stitch this and put it behind my mini porch goose. Like, that's, I think, incredible. And so then I kind of want this like collection of goose stuff, you know? The vision is there, even if you can't see it. Okay, the next one might be this and that tiny modernist thing are the two things that I'm genuinely like, I could really stitch this immediately. I'm not planning on it, but like I could, you know what I mean? And I didn't even see it until I was watching the Thread Gremlins video. It is Ducks in the Orchard by a Gardner's Needle, and I love a duck. I love a goose. I love a duck. I don't want them. I do not want one, but I love them. I love looking at them. There was this park next to my college where I could go and look at the geese, and I loved doing that. But don't feed them. That's not good for them. But I love this pattern. I love it so much. I think it's so cute. Even like when I first saw it, I was like, that's a really busy border, and I don't think I would want to stitch that. But even now I'm like, actually I do want to stitch that. I want to stitch that border. The thing that I would do to this that I can't stop thinking about is I would put it on like a deep blue fabric. And I like Sapphire, I think it was called, by someone last year. Like it was a big market release last year. I'll pop a picture. This is gonna take so much editing. But this on that, I need it in my life, and it fits the vibe of things that I want on my wall. I love the tiny ducks. I love the parent geese. I love that it's like a romantic sampler, but instead of like a man and a woman in a very like primitive Adam and Eve style facing each other, it's like two ducks, you know? I love like the colors, and I just think I don't love it on this fabric. I think you really lose a lot of like the definition, and the colors don't pop as well. Like, it's kind of muddy, and Thread Gremlins was talking about that too. But I think everything would pop so well on like a deep blue. I just think that would really work and be stunning. So it's percolating. It's like in the back of my mind, possibly gonna start it any day now, but I also am trying not to start things. We'll see. We will see. And then the last one, so that was gonna be my last one, my like creme de la creme favorite one. And then I was watching someone's video and I had to add this one on at the end. and it is Guide Us When Perplexed by Monticello Stitches. Like I said, I don't love a quote, and this one is definitely a religious quote. This is one of the only things I've seen where I've been like, it would be worth it to rechart that quote. Because a lot of the times, I don't like recharting, and I literally just commented on Stitchpocalypse video and said this. I don't like a religious quote, and I know a lot of people rechart them, like Emily C recharts them, and she puts like song lyrics in and stuff, which is super cool and something that I wish I could do, but I don't. I love the fact that I don't have to be creative when I cross stitch. Like, I create beautiful artwork, but really I'm just following a pattern. Like, I don't have to think about it that hard. And so that's like one of the things I love about cross stitch. The idea of recharting doesn't really appeal to me because then I have to be the one being creative, and I don't want to do that. But this is one that is so beautiful. I'm kind of like, I could figure it out. Because these flowers, are you kidding me? Stunning. Stunning. These colors, these flowers, I feel like we do not see enough hydrangeas like this. Like, I know actually, someone came out with like a hydrangea sampler, but their hydrangeas weren't hitting like these hydrangeas are. These look like the hydrangeas in my childhood backyard, and I need them on my wall. I can only imagine how many colors they use in that. But they are so pretty, and I love them. I've never heard of Monticello stitching before. Monticello Stitches, they do a lot of religious samplers. I don't even know what I would put in the middle of this. I guess like maybe a song lyric or something. But yeah, I'm just in love. I'm in love with this. The hydrangeas, they're just... And I like how like there's slight variations in the hydrangeas in the four corners. Like, it is basically a pattern that's like flipped. So it's the same on both sides. I don't know if I would do the border, I'm gonna be so honest. I don't think I would, actually. And I might skip the bees. Bees really freak me out. There's so many bees in cross stitch, but I have really sensitive skin, and I'm convinced that if a bee stings me, it's like the end. That's beside the point. But I love how, even though it's flipped and most of the flowers are like exact flipped versions of each other, the hydrangeas in the corners are just slightly different. And I don't know if that's like the variegated floss they use or a charting, like purposeful, but I'm obsessed. This is like a sampler. I don't even know what you would call this, if it would be a sampler. This is a pattern that like, I have so many big projects going on right now, and sometimes I think like, okay, when I finish a really big project in 10 years from now, although I've been stitching really well lately, but if I finish something big, I should start thinking about what I want to stitch next, like a reward, like a big piece that I could pick up once I finish one of my pieces right now. This is that. It's getting stitched. It is so beautiful. So yeah, those were my market picks. If you made it till the end, drop a flower emoji. I don't think anyone's making it to the end of this video. I feel like I lost y'all when I completely stopped talking about market picks. Yeah, I need to be better about these sit-down videos. I don't know. I wanted to film this, and so I did, and now I'm like, it needs to hit the 30-minute mark, so keep talking, girl. But I do want to make more Flosstube extras. I have a couple in the works, and I'm just, yeah. I do feel like I don't know if I'm just like pickier about the things that I want to stitch now, or styles have shifted, but I kind of did like last year's market better, to be honest. Like, I really love all the patterns that I picked, but I feel like I saw a lot of them where I was like, that is beautiful, but I don't know if I want to stitch that. And I do feel like Tiny House Big Flowers was like big last year, and obviously I do love a tiny house, big flowers. So yeah, on that note, that's kind of a depressing note to end on, but I love market. It's fun. I love watching other people's market videos, and I hope you enjoyed mine, and I'm going to end this video before I implode. Goodbye.